Well, obviously the Treasury...
Institute of National Affairs Executive Director Paul Barker has said that whilst Papua New Guinea's economy may be showing signs of slight improvement, the challenge of revenue collection is one that will remain for the next few years. With the government's need to raise further revenue, there have been calls to either increase the level of personal income tax, which would affect wage earners earning more than 10,000 kina per year. However, there have also been calls to increase the level of the Goods and Services Tax, GST, from the current 10%, which would ultimately see prices for all goods and services in the country increase.
The Treasury has got to look at the revenue side. The expenditure side is what people are interested in, but if you haven't got the revenue, then you can't have the expenditure. And if you are having to borrow, as we have been since particularly 2012, since when we've been having this budget deficit, we've been basically borrowing to be able to sustain expenditure. Obviously that has resulted in increasingly debt servicing becoming the third largest component of our expenditures.
With personal income tax contributing the largest proportion of the country's revenue, it is only paid by a small proportion of citizens. According to Mr. Barker, if the government is thinking of increasing taxes, it must do so without having to place more burden on Papua New Guineans.
The government will want to make sure that it is getting sustainable, tangible revenue. This current year, we got quite a bit of revenue from that regularization legislation, but that's a once-off transfer, and to some extent it jeopardizes the operational activities of regulatory authorities that in themselves have some responsibility over collecting portions of revenue as well. So,
on proposed expenditure, Mr. Barker is adamant that the government has made progress on this front, particularly with the recently launched third medium-term development plan. He says the focus now is clear, with expenditure to be tied to government priorities, but the challenge of efficient and successful implementation remains.
But at the end of the day, crucial is for the state to also be looking at the bigger picture of how it, not only how it spends money and how it gets the revenue, that it is spending efficiently. So getting that governance in place so that we stop wasting money on excessively expensive contracts.